Hello and welcome back. This has been the first weekend for bear hunting up here, up north, and it's been a really crazy weekend. Today we are up north again. I've been up here all weekend doing some bear hunting. The bear hunting season has started. We went out Friday night, or actually Friday morning, which was the opener. Friday morning, I didn't see anything, and my cousin who was also up here hunting, he didn't see anything, and I actually pulled off the cards from the video cameras at that point too, and I've taken a look at some of those, and it's been kind of interesting. It's really hot up here right now for Minnesota, and you can probably tell I'm sweating. It's Saturday now, daytime, and it's supposed to get up to 90 degrees up here in northern Minnesota, which is a little unusual. It's 90 degrees and humid. And because of that, the bear activity has really switched around. They've really gone nocturnal. They're not really out during the daytime at all, so I'm not surprised we didn't see anything in the mornings when we were out there. And the bear bait just hasn't been getting hit as much. So I just think the bears are hiding in the swamp and staying cool, I think. But then we went out again that evening on Friday, and so we were both out there till late in the evening, and he actually had two bears show up on him at the same time. So he saw the one coming down the trail, and I'll kind of show you some video here. I've got some of the stuff in there, just not a whole lot of video, but one of the bears was coming up the trail, and then he heard something behind him at the same time, and he had to react really, really quick because they were like really close to where his stand was. I would say probably 20 feet from underneath him when he finally realized what was going on. And so he did get a shot off, and first he wasn't sure if did he hit anything or not. And so he texted me, and this is probably around 7:55 that evening, and you can only hunt until like 8:30 because sunset's about 8 p.m. around here, and you can only hunt for 30 minutes after. I told him I would get packed up and head over there, so I got packed up and headed to where he's at. By the time I got there, it's getting kind of late, but we were able to find a blood trail, and we were able to follow that back kind of through the woods where he's at. And about 50 yards in, we eventually found a large male, and I got a picture of it here, that he got. He got it, like I said, about 7:55 that day. And but then the question was, how do we get it out of the woods? That was the next problem, right? And so he was like, well, let me go back, and he was going to go back and get his ATV, and he actually had to come all the way back to the house to get his trailer with it. And there's a swamp area kind of back in there right now, but it's just so dry up here that swamp is really dry. So he was able to go get his ATV, hook the trailer up to it, and drive it back to where I was at. So I stood out there in the dark. I mean, I had my flashlight and my 9mm with me for about 15 minutes, with this black bear, knowing that there was a second one around. And I'll show you what I think are the two bears that have been together. And this was the larger male that he shot. I think the other one's a female, and I can show you some videos here. And so, yeah, I'm standing out there in the dark, and, it's like 9 o'clock. It's pitch black. I've got my 9mm with me, and I've got the flashlight. So I just sat out there and talked to myself the whole time, just trying to be loud to make sure that if anything was around, that it wouldn't show up. But he eventually got back. We got the bear loaded into the trailer. That was a task, getting even into the trailer. And then we drove it over to where the heart pond is, and that's where we tagged it, obviously, first. And then we drove it over to where the heart pond is and dressed it there. Got back to the house, weighed it. So yeah, it was 231 pounds dressed. So it was a good bear. He made actually a good shot, even with how fast he had to react. He hit it right where he needed to. The bear didn't go that far, about 50 yards. It was just, we had to kind of dig through the brush and the forest there, the woods there, to try and get to it. We were able to follow a blood trail, so glad we got that. And then I went back out again this morning, knowing it was going to be really, really hot today. So I went out this morning to go out there. I got in the stand about 6 o'clock, which is about time to start hunting anyways, because sunrise here is around 6:30 right now, and you can start 30 minutes before. But I get into the stand, and I get a text from my brother-in-law who was coming up here, which is why I just also say it was a really weird weekend. So he was coming up here. He was coming up last night, and he never showed up. And I eventually had to go to bed, so I get up this morning and go hunting. So he texts me this morning and tells me that he's lost and that the car's in the ditch and he needs some help. And so I text him, ask him like, well, where are you? Like, can you give me some type of location? Where's your last known location? He kind of gives me some extra information, and I realize he's actually north of where we are right now. And so he doesn't come up here that often, so I think he just kind of got lost last night in the dark, and his cell phone coverage isn't really that good up here. So I was able to actually find him this morning walking down the road. He spent all night in his car, in the ditch, which was kind of funny. So we went and got the car out of the ditch this morning too. We were able to kind of maneuver it around and drive it out of there. So yeah, it just have been a weird weekend. It's super hot, which is unusual. And the car was in the ditch, so my brother-in-law put his car in the ditch, and it's really, really hot up here. And so I didn't get a bear this time. So I could continue hunting for the rest of the weekend because it's Sunday now and it's Labor Day weekend, so I could also hunt tomorrow. But it's just so hot right now, today and tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and just pack it in, head back home, and we will come up here next weekend and try again. So that's what we're going to do. I want to thank everybody for watching. Be sure to like this video, share it out with your family and friends, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We'd love to have you, and we will see you guys next time.